Good morning, all. Alrighty, time to get right to work because I got work to do. So we're already moved in here quite a bit. You know what? I'm going to move this back over here because I think it's been far worse having it on the other side. Besides, then it's directly under my name. I wonder if I can center myself. No. Okay. No centering. Gotcha. That's fine. But over here is just my color picker and things on this left side. So if I'm over here on the left side, you can see everything on the right side. All right. So we're now on page 8. Bring up the things. What does this do if I do this? Huh. That's kind of interesting. I'm working on the layout thingies, and I've got like apparently the ability to do different layouts and stuff. It's cool. All right. We'll chill. All right. Moving back into, I took a break yesterday for a little bit to do okay. I took a break yesterday to do just a little bit of other things kind of going around here, working on the family stuff, but we're back to the actual fight today. Working again on rebuilding the tech manual. So bring you guys up to date. And the original tech manual I made, which was the first thing I printed, that's this guy right here. This guy right here was the first comic I had printed. I printed it back in April, and it's a great piece. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's got a lot of weird amateur first-time errors, and so we're fussing with it and fixing with it. Right? It's got a couple of, like, one of them was none of the pages were the same size. Some pages were huge, some pages were small. And I'm not talking about, some pages were at 300 DPI and some pages were at 600 DPI. So part of this is trying to just get everything on this, for lack of a better word, everything on the same page, right? So that's what we're kind of fussing with right now. Is that. So we're going ahead, and one of the things we're doing here is fixing all the tech manual pages. And we have quite a few of these weird pages that are all over the place. I hear a boodoo, but I can't see over there. Oh no. Now I can see over there. Howdy.
Morning.
Good morning. Okay.
What are you working on today?
Now I'm fixing my tech manual. So that first one that I made back in April.
Star charts. Yeah.
Yeah, it's star charts. That first one that I made back in April, I sent it off to the printer, and they came back with, some of these pages are at different resolutions, and I was like, no, they aren't. Everything is uniform. I recently looked at it, and no, like half the pages are in 300 DPI, and the other half are at 600 DPI. And like,
that's weird.
Some of the pages are 8 by 10, and some of the pages are like 8 by 7.5. And I'm like, what was I thinking? And I think because I wasn't ready yet to use this function of Clip Studio where it makes the whole book in one unit, because I was afraid of it. I didn't know how to use this function, so I was like, I'll just build it all in Photoshop. But one of the great things about this function is it unifies all the pages. They're all the same size, same, everything's, for print purposes, this is beautiful. This is one of the best pieces of Clip Studio right here, is this, where I can just go through and set the cover, and the back can be set back to front like that. And all the pieces parts go in here go really nicely. So I'm redoing it. And yeah, I mean, some of it is that, like, I redid this map here because it's much cooler now than it was before.
Right.
This is now it's much cleaner, and you can actually see like all the different states, so to speak, which are in here. Because there's 4 factions that are really the primary antagonists in my story. Mm-hmm. They're not really all antagonists. Only really the Commonwealth is the bad guys. The guys in red there. The beehive down in the bottom right, they're just a nice little happy little kingdom that just kind of goes along and does its thing. And then the Pleiades are a trade group, so they don't actually like have any beef with anybody as long as they're trading. So, sort of thing. But it's a much better map, and I worked on it for a couple of days and made it look nicer and stuff like that, much to the chagrin of Brent.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, like, now I'm just kind of like, I don't know why I didn't do this before, sort of thing. It's like,
easy morning.
Yeah. So now I'm just opening all of these pages, and going, crap, what did I do? What have I done to myself? Like, open up page 8 and then go paste, and look at that. I mean, obviously it was larger than I'm like, this one's exactly what he was talking about. It's totally larger. It makes total sense that they were like, did you know what you did? No, obviously I don't. Luckily, I'm not the kind of person that, like, you're obviously at fault, it's not me. My first assumption is, I probably screwed it up, but I don't know how. Like, I know a lot of people that are like, hey, yeah, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not one of those people.
Right.
So I was like, so they were really nice and very kind, because of course I wasn't fighting them. I was just like, I'll fix it. Can you tell me what you need? I don't know what I did wrong. So so how you doing this morning?
Not bad. Just was getting some stuff done and realized it was already 9 o'clock. I was like, oh wow, time flew.
Yeah. It'll escape you.
Yeah. Like, all right, I'll jump back on, hang out with Guy today.
That works.
I'm doing application processes for this. We found a place that I'm looking at renting. So.
Cool.
Nicer, more room. Kind of liking it. So we all just applied literally this morning. One's getting finished right now, but yeah, we've all applied so far. So we just got to get approved.
Fair.
They're in scenarios that they really need to get out of. So that explosion that happened at that apartment complex in Aurora like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
My friend was in that house. I have my buddy that lived there too. He doesn't live there anymore. They evicted everybody.
That explains a lot. Because I had a buddy who was there And now the buddy's like, I'm looking for a new place.
Yep. No, yeah, he had 6 days. They put him and his roommate into pretty much everybody that couldn't go anywhere. They put him into a hotel for 6 days. And then on the 6th day, they're like, hey, you have until the end of the week to get out. Here's your deposit back. Here's $1,000.
Wow.
So I was like, wow. All because you guys fucked.
Well, the building's condemned, I think.
Yeah, it's because
It's
the electrical room blew up.
Yeah.
On the 4th floor.
Yeah.
So it's either them or construction.
Yeah.
Did something they weren't supposed to.
Well, I don't know how old is the building.
It's new.
Oh, then
that building's only been up for like maybe a year to 2.
That's a major lawsuit, though. Major lawsuit going for
exactly.
For the apartment complex, because they're gonna be like, hey, you know what? That's not cool, guys.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot. That's why I was like, it's crazy.
Oh yeah. Hey, check it out. When her frontal lobe completed its growth pattern. Boy.
What happened to my phone? Why are you doing this to me?
I don't know.
That was weird. It went black for like 2 seconds.
I noticed that. I was like, you just vanished, dude. Like, you're gone.
It did that it did that right before I logged on too. It was like, oh, yeah, you want this? No. Thanks. Okay, that's done. What else can we work on?
A lot of these are just resizing crap. But yeah, there's a lot of typos in this. Originally, I was going to try to reprint this before the convention, and now I'm like, nah, it needs to really be gone over with a fine-tooth comb. Bye, Courtney. You were
I don't
here.
know what's going
now
on.
You're black again.
I know. I'm trying to.
You're in a blackout situation, dude.
Maybe it's because I haven't updated OBS. I don't know. Or it needs to be updated.
Yeah, I did have.
We'll just do that.
There you go. Are you gonna bring up Photoshop and start screwing around with it? Because like I was doing
It's
it
coming
up. Like totally. I'm not blaming you.
Slowly but surely.
Anything else on this page, or was this it?
Hmm.
I'm like,
Oh,
there's
for
a big
yours.
hole right here. I'm like, was there something else on this page, or was Is this it?
Right.
Oh. Oh, there was the Saturn. It's out there somewhere. Nice.
That's what it means. That's weird. I just think it needs to be updated. Interesting. It's saying that it keeps timing out my camera.
What do we do when an object is so far off the screen you can't actually select it? What do we do? We don't know. I'll figure it out later. I actually thought about this today. I was like, we really ought to just get this done. I did not make my life easy doing this. Like all of this. Why did they do this to myself? Oh my god.
Why did you do this to yourself?
I don't know. Boy, I made my life miserable doing this. Holy crap. So much of this is like really worked. Like the problem is that I must have rearranged things on the fly.
Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, so like some of this stuff is so worked. I must have rearranged it on the fly.
Oh, because of resolution or what?
Well, no, I mean like I can't find the original master of page 9.
Uh-oh.
Like this entire page is the only thing I've got's the print master, which I could reload, but it's a wall of text. And if there's text errors, if there's like, and it's clear there are typos, so there are errors. So I'm worried that this will be like, I don't know. I'm kind of like sitting here going, maybe I should just buckle down and rebuild this a little. I mean, like, because it was thrown together. It was really thrown together very quickly, so it'd be a thing that would be on the table at the convention.
Right, I remember
Now
that.
I'm like, clearly paying the price for it. You know what I mean? I'm like looking at it going, what the hell was I thinking in some of these areas? It's like, holy cow, some of this stuff is really screwed up.
This tech manual needs work.
It really does. I mean, like, because first of all, it went from tech manual to world building document. It really should be a world building document. It should be an accompaniment to the comic that says, hey, here are some of the important things you might want to know about the Unity engine. Kind of like the Silmarillion. You know what I mean? Like the Silmarillion in the Lord of the Rings is pretty much here's the universe, sort of thing.
This is everything we know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like all the stuff that goes on in the universe, because I was sitting here talking to my kid through his entire childhood about this world.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about more things than I wrote down in this book. So here are the other things we talked about.
Right.
Maybe I should start reading to my kid at night. And not reading to my kid at night, just coming up with Bellatrix Rising stories and then writing them down.
When he's getting ready to go to bed. All right, it's time for Dad to talk.
Right. You can go to sleep to my droning voice.
Get these ideas out of my head. You're the one that's going to listen. But Dad, no. You're listening until you fall asleep.
It builds character. My characters.
You'll understand when you're older.
Right? It makes sense when you're older. Tilden, shut up.
When I'm dead and gone, you'll remember all this subconsciously.
Right. My biggest problem is that I decided somewhere along the line to make my stories map into a long, not very tall map. It's kind of like, oh, for crying out loud. Windows updated, and now only the primary monitor allows you to go full screen with something now. You know how you could take a thing and then dock it to the top of the monitor and it would expand to full screen?
Yeah.
Now, in Windows 11, since their second update, it brings up the little, do you want to make tiles? Thing.
Oh yeah, do you want to tile this way? No.
Yeah, you can't go around it, so it won't dock it anymore. It just sticks in a tile on your main screen. And I'm like, I don't want it on my main screen. I want it on this screen. This is my drawing monitor. Okay. Also the one you guys see. So yeah, I was realizing that my map here is this map.
A little wonky.
Yeah, well, this shows where my ship went during our story arcs. This is the trail of our ship in the story arcs, so that I know what world I need to be at for each one of these stories.
Mm-hmm.
So. But yeah, the problem is, see how wide it is versus how tall it is?
Oh yeah.
The other problem,
it's a 2-page spread.
Yeah, exactly. Well, except that there's one problem, and that is all of my maps have this side over here as the top, and this side is the bottom.
Oh.
So part of the problem is that either I rotate this last map 90 degrees, which is disorienting, or I keep it going the way it is, which is up and down, and then it just doesn't fit on the page. So I'm kind of aggravated.
Okay.
Like, how am I supposed to fix that? So that's what's happening here on this page is I've got it oriented correctly, but I have it split into two at the wall. I don't know. I'll come back to this page in a bit.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Well, that's why I'm like looking at this going, damn, there's two different versions in here. It's so confused. Now? Yeah, you're floofy. You know you're floofy. You totally know you're floofy, don't you?
Is George back?
Yep. Yeah, he visits from.
I heard you say you're floofy. I'm like, what?
He's a floofy.
I was like, I thought you were talking to me. I was like, what are you talking about, guys?
You are my floofy there, man. Can you know that?
I'm your floofy now? Nice.
You're my you're my floofy now.
Oh.
Oh no. Okay. Well, then that happened.
I've seen this video before in
Right?
college.
This doesn't end well.
I know where this is going.
Oh man, that's funny. Wait, I saw this video. I like this. Okay, here's one. Because I feel like this should be. So I've been thinking about a lot of things about what this is. And I think this is a world building document. So we're going to have to make it into a world building document. Stop screwing around with trying to make it in world. Part of the problem, of course, is that if it's a world building document, then, you know, do I talk about it like it's in world or what? You know what I mean? Like,
That'd be cool.
because it was in world before, where it's like, you know, welcome to this part of the galaxy. Since you're visiting, you should visit all these pieces and places and stuff. You know.
Welcome to Quasar Field 23.
Yeah, but things kind of got weird, and not weird, but I don't know, just feels like we didn't do it right. And I don't know, I'm not as ecstatic about it anymore. So now I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with this. I can see why you want to move.
It's a regular thing.
Right?
Like, I'm cool with it on, like, occasion, but, like, this is literally a daily, hourly thing. On my days off, this is all I hear.
Right.
And it's so nice out right now that I'm like, I want my window open for this reason. And then I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to. I'm just going to die of heat. I don't know which one I want more.
Yeah, I've got my door open, but there's that dog across the way.
Uh-huh.
You know, the one who's got separation anxiety.
Yeah.
Just sits outside going,
They're never gonna love me again. They abandoned me.
And if he would give up, it'd be one thing, but he never gives up.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he just keeps going. Like,
For days. Yeah.
yeah, like all day. And then they come home at like 5 or 6, and he is still, you know, and I don't know. It's just, it drives me crazy. Like,
That's annoying.
yeah, it just, he sits there and cries all day.
Like, hey, I think it's cool you guys own a dog, but apparently this is not the right dog for you. I don't know. Like that's kind of like here too. Like, the roommates' dogs, if they don't show up at a certain time, like they'll leave them here all day. But if they don't come home after like midnight or whatever, like he starts freaking out and like crying and like howling. And I'm like, dude, it's fucking 2 o'clock in the morning. Like I'll be dead asleep. Like there's been multiple times where they'll go out for, it's Friday, they want to go out. I'm like, I get that. Have fun. Go enjoy yourselves. Don't forget you have an animal here that literally cries.
Right. You're not alone.
I'll be sitting here like, because Friday nights, like I can't do much because I have to be at work at like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday.
Right.
And if I'm being woken up at 2 o'clock, like it's fine when I'm awake at like, and I don't have to work till like 11, 12 o'clock, but like when I have to be up at like 5 to go to work, like that's annoys me, you know?
Right. Yeah. It bothers me. I mean, I hate to say this. This is one of the reasons my streams are starting to die. I'm so shocked.
Uh-oh.
Well, one of the reasons why I don't have a dog is because I don't think I could give the attention to a dog that would be required. I have 2 cats.
Right.
My cats are fine. I can leave them for 3 days. As long as they've got food and water, I'll come back and they'll just stare at me like, what'd you leave me for? You know?
Oh, hey, look. Welcome back.
Did I leave?
You know? No, it's that whole, like, the cat's just like, sup, welcome back.
Oh, gotcha. It's flashing.
It's been a while.
Your connection is unstable thing, so I didn't know whether I actually left. Yeah, exactly. Welcome back. Why'd you leave me, man? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use a Tory stare in cat mode. Like,
I'm gonna ignore you for a few hours and then be like, all right, cool, now you can give me attention.
Yeah. I'll give you maybe.
My roommate's cat, my old roommate's cat used to do that. Like if she left for like a few weeks or whatnot, because it's like work or whatnot, she would leave for like a few days. The cat would come in, see her, and go, "What's up?" and then walk over to the roommate and just hang out with him instead. And she's like, "Really?"
Right.
After she gets like everything all put away and she's back and like situated in the house, just relaxing on the couch, the cat will start looking at her and be like, "All right, you finally deserve to hang out with me." I was like, "You're a little shit."
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Oh my god, that was so funny. Also, I miss that cat. That cat was awesome.
Yeah.
That cat had this weird sixth sense. The reason I liked her, like that cat, was because like it somehow knew if I was overworking myself, because it would immediately try and come hang out with me all the time. Because what it liked to do was like put me to sleep. Like sit on your chest, start purring, and then I'd fall asleep on the couch. Like it would only happen too if I was like overworking myself. So I was like, wow, I must be pushing myself a lot if you know this.
Right.
Did not realize it. Thank you, cat.
Yeah.
We had the best cat naps. It was bad joke.
Right. I am So originally, like I said, I was doing this in world, but now that I have been, it just looks chaotic. And I think it'd be better to do this out of world. Like, so instead of the first page being welcome to the HCZ, and glad you're here. You should visit this place and this place while you're here. Like, and I'm the mayor. Sort of thing. Yeah. I'm actually thinking I should make the first page. What is Bellatrix Rising? Bellatrix Rising is a comic series set in the relatively distant future, around 2600 or so. You know what I mean? Like, sort of a. And then, how did it come about? In 2005, I began writing a Star Trek fan comic called Tamerlane, sort of explaining where this all comes from instead, coming from me,
Kind of give it more of a introduction.
Yeah, but also, it is a companion piece. It's exactly what it should be. It's the world. I spent 2 freaking years building this world. You know what I mean? Like, there is a lot in here. I spent all of 2020 and 2021 building this universe and started actually putting stuff together only in 2022. So, in 2019, my dad and I should call him Dad.
Here's a question for you, guy. Background? That one? Or that one?
The first one.
The lighter one?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's I
was like, I'm curious. That just feels like so much black.
Yeah, it's so much black, but also, you might want to tone the white down too a little. I'm not sure. I'm thinking about this. The biggest problem is with the lighter color, though, it does he doesn't stand out as much.
He doesn't stand out as much?
Yeah, he does not stand out as much. So with a darker background, he really stands out. But I don't like the darker background because it's a little too harsh.
Too harsh. Got it. That's what I was looking for. I was like, it just felt really harsh. I was like, how can I make this look better?
It's too harsh. But on the flip side, once you put the gray in there, he starts to fade into the background a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So we've got kind of a dual problem. So what we might want to do is take that white and bring it down just a little bit into the grays too. Just
make it more of a gray.
Or maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe.
I know that's what I'm seeing. I don't know what the solution is, but I know that's what I'm seeing.
Right.
And that's actually showing growth in my character as an artist. Because there used to be a time where I could tell you what needed to be fixed, but I couldn't tell you why.
Like that?
Yeah, that's much better.
That's better? Okay.
Yeah, see how...
I want him to, pop because of the colors, but it's too gray now.
Maybe it's too gray. I don't know.
My teacher brought up a thing about it, saying that it might help out because it would get rid of a lot of the gray. There's a lot of gray undertone in him, and I'm like, I can see what he's saying. That's why I was like, how do I make that pop a little bit more with the color?
Right.
Just keep pushing that white just a little bit more. Actually, kind of helped. Okay. All right.
That's my thought.
For now. Yeah. No, you're right. I definitely understand where your character as an artist is definitely getting better too. So.
Yeah, I'm liking the fact that I'm getting better at this stuff. It's helpful. So, did I tell you about I've kind of made a realization something's happening with me?
What?
So, I've been having problems with leg cramps. You've been hearing me talk about the leg cramps and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And been trying to, and they're disruptive because about 4 hours after going to sleep, they seem to be pretty consistent. I'll go to sleep, and then 4 hours later, my right or left calf will cramp, and it's excruciatingly painful. And the only way to stop it is to get out of bed and stand up and stretch it back out.
Right.
And then I'm wide awake. So it's been kind of difficult to get a good night's sleep. I don't sleep past 4 hours, So for a while there, I was shift sleeping. I would sleep 4 hours at night. I'd get up. I'd come in here. I'd do work for a while. And then I'd go back to sleep in the afternoon and sleep for another 2 to 3 hours, which would give me a total of 7 hours for the day. And that seems to be fine. But I actually was looking out on the web at one point in time, and one of those stupid advertisement things got me. And I was like, uh-oh. And it says, do you have psoriasis? You might want to look to see if you have symptoms of psoriatic arthritis. And I was like, what is that? Because I have psoriasis, right? So I'm like, okay. So I looked it up, and apparently 30% of people who have psoriasis get psoriatic arthritis. And that is where the joints and areas start to inflame, because psoriasis is an overreaction of the immune system, which I've kind of been theorizing. I've never gotten COVID. Somehow I have managed to make it 2 freaking years, three years now, without ever getting COVID. And I think what's happened is, yes, I've gotten all the boosters and shots and vaccines, but I've never, even my sister, she had the asymptomatic version, but she just lost her sense of smell. You know what I mean? And so I've never even lost my sense of smell or anything like that. And I think what's happened is I have a really super aggressive immune system. My immune system is insane because of psoriasis. And I think I've caught COVID many times, and my immune system has just killed the hell out of it every time, which is, hey, nice point, hey, good point for that. But I think on the other side of that, my immune system is also attacking my body, because I am creaky and I move around like a 90-year-old, and getting out of bed's difficult and things like that. And now I'm starting to realize I might have arthritis, or at least some kind of arthritis. You know what I mean? And then I finally looked this up, and they were saying, here are some symptoms. You have joints that hurt. Well, my middle finger on this hand has been hurting randomly. In fact, it's hurting right now. And I'm like, that's great, because that's, my drawing hand. That's what I really need, is my,
Have you tried compression gloves?
This is before we try anything. But the thing that...
Oh, yeah. No, I'm just more saying that, like, what I've done... Let me see if I can get my video back up, because it actually does... This actually helped out.
Well, I will try all kinds of things, but I've got to get to the end of this thought process.
Sorry.
But one of the other things that has been coming up is they were talking about tendons hurting. Yep, I'll try that. I want to get one anyway, because the screens...
Well, so they come in a pair. They're like $10 on Amazon or something, like $10. This is before like Amazon had a store here in Colorado, like the big huge hub. So now you could probably get them for even cheaper because shipping.
And probably get them today.
Yeah, but literally, I just buy these. They work as like, I just got them as for drawing gloves. I have all the other ones, like the black ones that just go over the pinky, whatever, the smudge proofs. But these actually work really well. I'm actually really impressed. But I started wearing these. It was like at the tail end of RTG.
Right.
When I was drawing, when I was more on a computer, using my tablet more, I was like, I need to do something because I'm going to destroy my hands if I keep... Because I was noticing I was putting too much pressure on at the time because I just couldn't control my pressuring.
I'm having problems with pressure sometimes too.
Like pressuring, not just with the... Because like when I'm starting to get like super detail, like when we're going to inks and whatnot, like getting like super in there, like my fingers would just start hurting because I'm like crimping my fingers down on those pens, and I'm just like, okay, I need to do something. until my brain and my hand understand that I don't have to press that hard.
Right. So anyway, the other symptoms that were involved, which I thought was fascinating, is that they were talking about ligaments hurting, like specifically your Achilles tendon, which that was the kind of the wait a minute, because mysteriously for the last 6 to 8 months my right Achilles tendon has been really hurting.
Really?
Like I had pulled it or something.
Crazy.
And stretching it out will help, but it hurts. And what I've noticed is when I can wear these socks. I bought these socks which pull my toes up. You know, they got a little strap that goes from your toe to your ankle, so your foot can't move down. And I had gotten 2 of those, and I put them on my feet at night. And what I would notice is that by about 4 hours or 5 hours into the night, my right Achilles tendon would start to hurt and itch because it was trying to pull, but the thing was keeping it straight. I wouldn't get cramps, but it definitely was doing something. You know what I mean? Like, it was better than the cramps, so
something in there's not happy.
But something is going on with my right Achilles tendon.
Right.
And it was talking about a lot of these things, and it was also saying that sciatica and back pain are first signs too, because the arthritis will attack the sciatic part of your spine and clamp down on the nerves that go to your legs, which causes pain in both legs and knees giving out and things like that. And I'm like, oh crap, my knees have been giving out. I just assumed that was from martial arts. You know, here
that actually could be.
Look at what I learned yesterday. You know,
that could be part of that too, though. That could be an additive to it.
It could be, but I mean, like, they were talking about all the symptoms, and I'm like, this is all starting to add up. But here is the real kicker. When I went to the doctor and talked about the cramps, his thing was your hamstrings are super tight, right? Because he did a physical on me, and he was like, your hamstrings are insanely tight. And he's like, so you need to stretch. That's what needs to happen. Okay. I've been stretching now for 8 months, and I still get cramps, but I don't get cramps when I don't stretch. I just get cramps randomly, right? Like, I'll get cramps for like a week, and then no cramps for 3 weeks, and then cramps for a week, and then no cramps for 3 weeks, you know, sort of thing like that. It's not consistent, but it's like that. And when I was reading about this, one of the things they were talking about was it's like psoriasis flare-ups. When the psoriasis flares, then you get all of the pressures on all of the joints and everything like that. And I was like, I'll bet you that's what's going on. I'll bet you. And the thing is, I could test it, except that I can't. So
okay, I'm back. Sorry, my phone was going off.
Oh yeah, it's all good. So anyway, it was talking about the article was talking about flare-ups. So when psoriasis flares up, you've probably seen it on me because I've got psoriasis on my nose right here. So this area will get really red all of a sudden and start scaling and stuff like that.
That's what that is. Okay.
And so yeah, it's psoriasis.
Fun.
Yay. You know, the other places I have it is inside my ear canals. Oh, those are so horrible because they itch.
That sounds painful. And
there's nothing you can do to stop it. I mean, you can't scratch inside your ear canals.
Right.
So you just sit there and itch. But that's why I don't wear earbuds, is because if I put an earbud in there, it makes it all itch. Everything just starts itching.
Because everything's just moving around in there.
Yeah, and it just starts itching, and it's horrible. So I have to wear the over-the-ear headphones. I can't wear the headphones that are earbuds, which is a shame because over-the-ear headphones are really big and bulky.
Right.
Anyway, they were talking about when this flares up, then you also get this flaring up all the way through your body. And I was like, that would make some sense as to why no amount of stretching is helping the cramps go away. Like, stretching doesn't make the cramps go away.
Right.
Stretching makes the cramps go away, and I thought it worked, and then the cramps came back randomly, even though I was still stretching, you know. But that makes sense if a flare-up causes things to be wonky in the system. So that's where I'm going to talk to my doctor, obviously. I'm going to see my doctor on Thursday of next week. So I'll go in there and say, I've got to re-up my prescriptions. But what I was saying was the first thing they say is that you could just take ibuprofen, and that'll help because ibuprofen reduces swelling. I can't take ibuprofen because my blood pressure meds conflict. Because I've got the cheap, stupid blood pressure meds. They're just cheap. And so that's the Thursday thing is I'll say, okay, here's what I think is happening. This explains a lot more. The biggest thing that was frustrating me was stretching was not doing anything. Right? Or rather, stretching was doing some stuff. It was great, but it was not solving the problem.
Right.
Which was the reason why we were doing stretching, because of that. But like I was saying to Mariah, I'm moving around like a 90-year-old, which I would understand because I spent 2020 just sitting in a chair. I get that.
Right.
But I've spent now 2021 and 2022 stretching and exercising and moving around. You'd think that I would have undone all of it by now. If the problem was spending all of 2020 in a chair, I built this standing desk setup in here a year ago. You know what I mean? Like, so more than a year ago, because it came up in our memories on Facebook about 2 months ago. So it's been 14 months that I've been standing at my workstation, And then I rejoined my school. So now I'm standing all day in classrooms, So I was like, this is different. I haven't seen Brent.
I haven't seen him either.
I wonder where he went.
Is he here today?
No. That's what I was saying.
I didn't see any messages or anything on there, so I figured.
Yeah, there's no messages on the main screen. Still says, says we've got 2 viewers, but we usually have 1 viewer on Can's page and 1 viewer on my Twitch. And I think those are bots that Brent has put in there. I'm not sure. And I can't ever be absolutely sure because the little viewer thing up there sometimes just doesn't count people that are watching, and they are watching. And sometimes it does count people that aren't there. So it's not 100% reliable. That little like viewer thing up there on the top, because I have done we don't have anybody watching, and like 5 people will be in the room going, we're watching, and I'll be like, well.
It's also like I know Twitch specifically does this. If you're not active, it puts you in like silent mode, hence why there's a way to actually fib that if you have like a lurk command or whatever, because you can go in and go like exclamation lurk, and then it instantly just puts you in there as like, hey, you're in standby. You're not going to be reacting or doing anything, but you're watching.
Right.
But they don't always calculate that, because right now I could tell you on your Twitch, you've had at least it says there's at least 10 people that are either viewing or have been through the view.
Right.
And they're just probably sitting in the background. I don't know. But like some of them definitely look like bot names, but still, it's one of those like you don't know if they're.
Yeah, they might not be, or they might be.
Yeah,
which is fine.
The only one I see right here is hello. It's time for another amazing stream from QuaCk.
Well, that's Restream.
Yeah,
Restream comes in as a bot.
Right, and that's the only message I see though. So like that's the thing that's the hardest part with Twitch and all that, is that there is that weird algorithm of like, if you're not being active, you're not watching, so they don't need to know that you don't have any views.
Right.
It's a weird thing. I don't know. One day they'll
I'm not
fix
on.
it.
I'm not on my Twitch stream right now, looking at it.
Oh, I usually always jump in and throw myself as a viewer in there. That's why.
Well, yeah. Is it you that's here?
I'm one of them.
Okay.
There was another one, which I think that might have been a bot that Brent set up. Maybe it's a bot that's kicking out bots. Who knows?
Huh. There, I pinged my own channel. I feel accomplished now.
There you go.
There, I have pinged my own channel. Although I am fascinated by the delay time on that. That was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Neat. Huh. That's the thing. I need to start working on my social media engagement. A lot of it is so alien now.
There's so many different things now too, and it's
Yeah.
like I sat there and thought about it. I'm like, I should get back into doing that, and then I really looked at everything and I overwhelmed myself, and I was like, nope, don't care anymore.
Right.
I was like, I'll get around to this someday again, because I was pretty big into it there for a while, and then I just like, nah, I'll come in when I need to.
It begins completed. What does that mean? Stream for 2,000 hours total.
Oh, you're looking at the achievements?
Yeah, I'm actually halfway through that. Holy crap.
Nice.
That's actually kind of nice to know, because I've been sitting here going, gosh, I'm streaming every day for years.
How long am I on here for?
Well, it's more along the lines of how much server space is Guy Davis taking up? You know what I mean?
You're going that route. Got it.
Yeah, I mean, like in my head, I'm like sitting there going, good God, how much server space am I taking up? I've got to be occupying, I mean, just YouTube alone, you know?
That's the other thing right now. Like, a lot of people are switching over to different platforms because of whatever Twitch is doing lately.
I've had 7 viewers at the same time.
Nice. And I got to get mine back up and updated so I can start doing off mine again. That's actually what I was trying. So, like, the reason why I was like a little bit later this morning was because I was trying to figure out that. I was like, how do I do this? How do I do that again? I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a lot more work than just a 5-second fix.
Right.
I was hoping for a 5-second fix. That was not happening. So I was like, all right, we're just gonna draw. We're gonna hang out and draw. Be more productive.
Oh, look at all these things I've completed. Like clockwork, streamed for 25 unique days in the last 30 days. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
The Empire Business streamed for 500 total hours. Empire Business streamed for 250 total hours.
I think they have a 24-hour stream on there too as an achievement.
Yeah. Streamed for 40 hours in the last 30 days. Oh. Yeah, I reached stream for 2 unique days in the last 30 days. And I reached that in April of 2020.
Oh, damn. That's cool. It keeps the dates in there for you, so when you actually achieved it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. It begins as well, I can't be a partner yet because I only accomplished 2 of the 3. I stream for 25 hours. That one's accomplished. We went to stream on 12 different days. That's accomplished. Average of 75 viewers. Nope.
Yeah, that's the hardest part with that one. You have to have like that consecutive. It's that number. It becomes a numbers game at that point.
Yeah. Kundi's following me.
I don't think Kundi's ever on Twitch though.
I don't think so either. I think he just came in and tagged me because
A lot of people I know that they're like, we have Twitch accounts that are just here to support friends. That's all we're. We're just jump in, we follow. I'll say.
I mean, down here we've got Kat, and Brent, and Raph. Two of the same person, so I think they logged out and then logged back in. Oh, now we're back. The dog is outside. All right, I'm done screwing around with Twitch, I think. That was fun, but I need to get back to work.
Holy shit.
What?
I was looking at my follower list on Twitch because I was kind of curious, and there's a person out there I did not expect to see.
Oh, yeah.
Her name's Kay Jones. She's a tattoo artist in Aurora, and she's an amazing tattoo artist. But she was on here. I was like, wait a second, what are you doing on here? If this is the person I think it is.
So we have, I think that Pan has decided not to broadcast to Picardo.
To who?
Picardo, which is the art thing. Well, no, broadcasting Picardo, but he's not. Anyway, the reason I'm saying this is, do you want to broadcast this stream to your stream?
I was doing it earlier, but I haven't been able. That's what I was trying to figure out, how to do all that stuff again. But I have to get it all updated and all that. It's gonna be a long 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, you actually know how to bounce the stream though, so like other people don't. So maybe I should hold this spot open for.
Yeah, because I was able to. Words. Yeah, because like when I would go live, like when we first started this, and I was helping out with it, like I would just hit there's up on the top here, it says add channels. I would just hit that because it would just shoot me live with everything that we're showing here. The exact same thing, so then everybody could see it.
Right.
But since that's not working for some odd reason for me, we are figuring. I have to figure that out another time. So.
Right.
I could probably figure it all out this weekend while I'm not at work and not trying to knock out all this at once. So
I should go fix some of these. Looking at those streams now, I'm like, well,
yeah, what's going on with Ken? Are they all right, or what's going on?
So far, they were here earlier this week, so.
Oh, they were? Okay.
Um,
I said they were kind of very busy with you doing all this, and then like streaming on the days when you're like, I'm not going. I was like, I'll start it up. Like, okay.
Yeah, that's
the
only sort of frustration is they were co-running this with me, and then that kind of
stopped.
You know, first it was I can't be there tonight. I'm having, this problem or that problem. Oh, that's cool.
Totally
but then
understandable.
It recently sort of just kind of, and it's been kind of frustrating because like a couple of nights ago, which might not have, it was like a couple of nights ago, I was just so exhausted.
Yeah, there was like 2 nights ago. You were like, "Hey, I'm just gonna go to bed tonight." I'm like, "All right, cool."
Yeah, and that means there was no stream though.
Right.
So, for all of our Twitch records and everything like that, we missed a stream.
Yeah, but I mean, if we actually had a schedule or whatnot of like, hey, Tuesdays, this is when we always do this.
Yeah.
Like, I think it'd be more consistent, but since it's an everyday thing and not like, I think for you, it's the most consistent than everybody else. Cause it's like, you're the one that's more held accountable. The rest of us, we're just more like your sideshow. Pieces,
Well, okay, so the mission behind this has always been to do this so that it's an accountability thing.
Right. No, and I totally understand that. But I was more saying, like, I remember when you first started this, you and Pepper were always the morning show.
Yeah.
And then it started more like later on, like afternoon, whatever, but like it was Pepper was the mornings and Kane was the afternoons with you.
Yeah.
And then I would jump in and out when I had time. Like that's my hardest part is that like I should be working on a different piece right now, but it's technically considered porn.
Well, you can do what you were doing before. So that's
True.
That's part of
I know what I should do when I make those streams. I should create a slideshow or something where it just does a slideshow in the corner. Like, well, I'm just in here drawing. You guys can see like my art or whatnot. That'd be a cool
thing. Can we do that?
Say what?
Okay, so here's why. Can you look at my monitor? I set up a thing where on my monitor where I can mosaic out stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
You can still see stuff kind of underneath it, and you can definitely see when my mouse is over here and I'm doing stuff over here, you can still see stuff, right?
Right.
But you can't see what actually is on the actual screen. So when I work on the naked pictures that everybody's going to freak out and melt down about,
right?
You know what I mean? And then I can return it back to this monitor like this, and it's not an issue. And I've done that. But the big thing here is, I think we put too much emphasis on what we're broadcasting. You know what I mean? Like the entire thing, the point behind this was for all of us to just get together, keep each other company, and make sure we all stay on task.
Right.
That was the mission statement from the very beginning. That's been the mission statement. And
yeah, you're right with that. I totally understand that part.
And so part of this is that, it's like, I get it. You can't, you've got a piece and you can't put it up here because naked people and we'll freak out naked people. But, just put your face up there. I'm okay with that. And you just keep company.
I know. I was just saying, I was like, it'd be kind of cool. Like if I did that, like made like a little slideshow thing that would just play in the background and I could sit here like this while I'm drawing.
The other thing we can do is something like this, where you know,
Oh
I have
yeah.
primary part of the screen, and then your face is there in the little part, and it's not like it's a
Yeah.
big deal. You're still
I forgot
okay.
you could do that too.
We don't got it, but
It's a George.
it is George. He wants scritches. He lives for scritches because he's George.
Mm-hmm.
Although I keep calling you Little Cat, and you're really not. He's definitely becoming a Tom. But I mean, like, so I mean, I'm going to put you back at 1-to-1 because I don't know whether you want to continue working on that piece or the other piece.
I mean, I do, but I also got to get ready for work here soon too.
If you got to do that other piece, then I'll do this, and then you can be over there in the corner. I do like the idea of a slideshow. I just don't know how to make it.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool just to do something like that. So when those days are happening, and I still can, because then I can still like talk with Brent and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is like when you had image slideshow. Holy shit! I'm gonna figure this out. I just said holy shit on the line. I probably shouldn't do that. Hang on. Main camera only. I'll duplicate this. Main camera only with slideshow. Okay. Source. Got the mixer. Sorry, background. Image slideshow.
I think once my if I'm still waiting to find out with the supervisor job too. If I actually get it, awesome, and then I can just move on. Like, because that I can't make the morning streams and maybe not the night streams either, just because of the time slots. But
sure,
we'll see.
Which that's cool.
Because yeah, I start work at 5. If I do get this position, I start to work at 5, and then I don't get off to like 2. But I'd have to be in bed by like 9, 10 o'clock.
Right. Makes sense. I get it. Streams are having connection issues because you're messing with crap again. Just work here. Oh yeah, I gotta add my Harley Quinn, man. I'm like just loading crap up. But I can.
Whoa. We got super close.
Yeah, it's Rouge. I'm gonna shrink it down. The question is whether it's resizing stuff. actually kind of kick butt. There we go. Actually, it's pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Like, it totally works. It's just my artwork rolling like that. If I worked on it, I could probably make them all 8.5 by 11 and have them be in landscape. You know, like have some selected pieces that are all in landscape the same size. And I think that would make this a whole lot easier, because right now it's, you know, it does portrait, then it does landscape, then it does portrait, then it does landscape. And it's like, you can't, you know, either like these guys who are in portrait mode, these guys get cropped, or the landscape ones get cropped, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's totally random too, because this picture has already been up once. I don't know, man. Now I'm starting to think that yeah, it's just make it 16 by 9. Always. Why is it only loading a handful?
Yeah, the reason I was saying that to do something like that, though, it still gives you, the viewers at least specifically, they can see something while you're just sitting there just talking with them or whatnot, like as a background thing.
Yeah.
Benefit there is just having something viewable if they just want to sit there and watch and talk. But if there's nothing, like when there's stuff that you can't really have going on, it's something.
Right. Well, this works. I mean, like, totally. Look at that. I mean, this is working just fine. Except that it's showing only 4. I don't know what that's all about. It's like on the same 5 pictures over and over and over, but it's all right. This is enough to make it work, you know?
It's a good starting piece.
There's no fade in.
Also, it's kind of like a, hey, I'm just going to show off a portfolio while we're talking.
Yeah. I mean, I wish it wouldn't show the same 4, but, you know, that's all right. I don't know what's going on with that.
Right.
Manually flip it through, but it slide. You do slide transitions. I really, really, really don't want to do this technique. Like, as cute as this is, we're not kidding. Okay, never mind. Let's get back to work. I'm like, I really, really don't want to do this tech manual. I don't want to redo it. It's a lot of work, and I don't want to redo it. And I've got to redo it because really it needs to be redone.
No, I totally understand that.
Oh, I forgot about these Chang expressions. Those are still pretty good. I love these. Did you see these?
Oh yeah, those are good. I liked it when you did those ones. Those were really cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, they turned out really nice. Why is it I'm not drawing this way elsewhere? And she has a real Disney effect looking for her right here.
Mm-hmm. You did really good with that one.
Right? Like, this one's really good. Pretty proud of myself on this one. I mean, I'm not trying to ring my own bell or anything, but I've been having a problem with, I feel like my characters are wooden. You know what I mean? Like, they're not expressy.
Not animated enough.
And these look really expressy, and these are very, this is very, and the version of this that came with the other character didn't turn out as good.
Right.
She just looked weird. They're not impressed. Neither one of them are impressed with you. Just saying. And then we finished this one. Turned out really nice. And that still fits with the other one. And these are the right colors too. The other thing is that I've decided to use the B19 color, or B39 color, I guess, rather than the my favorite blue. I'm going to use my favorite blue for their dress uniforms. So you heard that story, right?
The blue.
The reason why they're that blue color.
I know. I remember
like
hearing you you've explained the whole blue thing a little bit to me, and that's just because
right, the favorite blue color.
you're waiting because Pepper made like your favorite blue.
Right. Well, I don't know if he's made it yet, but we're working on it. But yeah, the my grandmother had. My grandmother apparently had a roll of ultra suede. You ever seen ultra suede? Do you know what ultra suede is?
Like the fabric?
Uh-huh.
Probably.
Maybe. Yeah, it almost has a rubbery feel. Almost.
Okay.
Like, it's very soft, very, very, very soft and very smooth, or not smooth, very, it's hard to explain. But it's got a nice feel. It's got a really nice feel.
Right.
And I'm spectrum-y anyway, but I think when I was really little, I was very sensory, like all my sensory stuff was kind of messed up. And ultra suede was really comforting. It was a comforting feel because it's very smooth, but we're not smooth, but it's not furry. I don't want to say it's furry because it's not the right word, but it's always cool. It's got a very cool attribute to it, so it's like takes heat away or something. I don't know. Anyway, the long and the short of it is, I think that I had a something made of blue ultra suede because somewhere along the line, my dad rebuilt this stool that my great grandmother had, and my sister had it. And when she moved, the army movers dropped something on it and literally shattered it into a zillion pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So my dad said, "No, I can fix this," and he did. He put it all back together again and fixed it, and then he resurfaced the seat with this blue ultra suede, and that he just had lying around from my grandmother's fabric shop. And when I saw it, there was this feeling of just absolute awe in my soul. You know what I mean? When I saw this rebuild, and I'm like, that specific ultra suede. And it was really interesting. My sister and I were talking about this, that I had a baby that was in that blue ultra suede. And he managed to find the remainder of that bolt and build the cushion of the seat with that fabric.
That's cool.
So I have an app color, and that's the blue of their uniforms. But the problem is that I feel like it's too rich for their service uniform. So
Maybe.
Now I'm thinking their service uniform has got to be, so at some point I matched my QuaCks with the colors so that if I ever drew the characters out on paper, I could color them with QuaCks. I know that this is this color and this is this color and this is this color and stuff. If you look at this picture here, it's up here in this corner is the charts.
Yeah.
For that.
The little swatches.
Yeah, the swatches. And each one of these is the marker. And then underneath it, I've got, I have to zoom in some more. I've got their hex colors under here. But I couldn't find the actual blue in Copics. So the closest I came up with was B39 for a Copic pen to match this. Well, now that I've been looking at it, I look at this coloring set here and compare it to, say, this coloring set here. And I feel like this is just a little too rich, this blue. And that this is a much more military uniform for utility. So I'm thinking of changing, since none of the first issue has been in color, there's nothing will change story-wise. It's not like this is going to alter anything. It's already been put down. Nothing's in color yet. But I'm thinking of changing it so that I'm using, this more muted blue for the service uniforms because it looks better.
Right.
I don't mind this blue, but it's a little too... You see how sharp it is, though? It's rich. It's kind of... Anyway, so... Music seems to be vamping.
Okay, that's what that's
there.
We want this more in the darker spectrum.
Oh. No support. Action required due to hsnwla.org. I feel like that's going to be an ugly thing. I want the security not to do this work.
When guy doesn't want to do techno.
I just don't want to redo stuff.
I know, I get that. I had to break that habit. Like, I still hate it, but like I had to try and like figure out ways to break that habit, especially with comic books.
Yeah.
Just because you're always redoing shit all the time.
Yeah, and it's
because
fine.
you have to redo panels, you have to come back in and do other stuff. Like it's but in the long run though, after you get the finished product, you're like, okay, it was worth it. It sucked, right, but it was worth it.
It is totally worth it. I think part of it also is that I really need to pull the text out of all of this and rethink it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, maybe I should do that now. Now I've got you on here, and I can talk to you, and you can talk to me, and I can bounce ideas off of you. Because I don't really require your attention necessarily. I just...
No, that's fine. I think I'm done drawing for the day. I gotta get ready here soon, but this gives me time I can sit here and talk to you about it first before I take it.
Yeah, because I'm like thinking about this, and really what this should be is sections. There should be sections of this. right?
Sections
Of this book. This book is not. There's no logic to this book. It's just random crap thrown on pages.
Oh, okay.
But I think what I need to do is go to like the last page here.
Question: how many pages?
17 or 16 internal.
Okay.
But it can be more. I mean, it doesn't. It can be up to 32. It's just that.
Right. No, I'm not saying. I was just more curious. How many pages do you have done for this already?
Yeah. Well, it's. I mean, so I'm looking at this and kind of thinking, okay, here I am. I'm on this last page. Right. And let's just put ourselves in pen mode here. And let's just think this out. Because I'm feeling kind of like I'm missing an important piece of this, which is okay. It's a tech manual. Well, it's not a tech manual, it's a world building document. What are the things that I have built? Obviously, I've built maps, right? I've also built characters and vehicles.
Okay.
And there's sort of
do you have your tech manual already? But you said you already finished it, right?
We do what?
You've already finished the tech manual. You're revising it now because of resolutions, right?
Right. Well, okay, yeah. So what happened was, yeah, there's already an existing copy of this that sort of works. But sending it to the printer makes them very angry, and so we've got to redo it anyway. And then I found typos everywhere.
Right. No, and I know that part. I was just making sure. You already have it down. So
yeah, there's already a.
What do we have that's already in these 17
you.
pages? So you have map, characters, vehicles, culture. Okay. Sorry,
yeah,
I'm just making sure I'm back. I'm catching up.
Right. So all I'm saying is I'm looking at this.
Switching gears. There we go.
Yeah, I'm looking at this going, okay. Oh, and then there's a timeline. Right.
Okay.
Because there's this huge timeline on things. So
the question I have then, with all these, how much of these cross over on pages?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, that's what I'm thinking is like I'm looking at this going, what are, because I kind of feel like maps and timeline are similar, characters and vehicles are similar, and culture.
Well, and then also your timeline can be after your opener, because you did your opener of like, this is Tamberlin.
Right.
And that would be a timeline piece, which I would go with that, because then it keeps everybody in the story arc way. And then character, vehicles, maps. I get characters and vehicles I would kind of keep together as more like a concept art side.
Right. This is what I'm looking for, right? Because you're right there.
And like your maps, I would keep kind of more within your timeline, because it would give you good ways to keep visuals for your timeline as well. Like your star charts and all that stuff. And then culture kind of goes in with timeline, I think.
You think so?
I don't think it would like 100%, but it would definitely have some crossover with your timelines. Because it's kind of like the same thing in most historical documents. If you ever look at it, timeline and culture kind of blend in with it, because you got like your religions and all that blending in of like why they attacked this area,
and
why we had the Crusades, why we had the Vikings going east,
right,
or going west. You know, like
right.
It's about their culture, but it's also adds into their timeline. So it's going to be a little bit of crossover. But if there is specific culture things of like you want to break down this race with their culture, like that would be more in between, I would say, your concept art and timeline.
Right.
And you left me.
Well, am I bookshelf?
I know. I'm just giving you credit.
Yeah, but I'm looking to see if there's something over here that would mimic.
Like, what do I have that's world building?
Like,
All right. Let's
do I have a
see.
Star Trek book that would do something similar?
I'm trying to see here. I have a few books like that. Yeah, they kind of do it. Yeah. Staff comments.
It probably isn't going to tell me the stuff I want to know. Star Trek. But it is similar. So maybe I'll bring it over.
Well, that's the hard part too, is because also like when you get into concept
Excuse me.
and tech manuals, like kind of like this one.
Here, I'm going to make you full screen so we can talk a little bit. Why is it I don't have the same controls? Hang on. I don't have controls. There we are. Now I've got controls.
Like one of my books I was thinking of. Hey, there's Brent.
Oh, hey, Brent. Yeah. Okay. And I'm
Like the
looking
Monster Hunter
at this
books.
guy, right?
Yeah, you have the same kind of concept, but like you got concept art and it has like all the notes and that within your concepts. But then they have like the splash pages with it too. But like all the notes in that are also part of your culture as well for like that character, that creature.
Right. Yeah.
The people. Because then you have like your armor breakdowns and all that stuff. Like there's a lot of cool stuff within these.
You're like, hey, look at this book. It's kind of fun. All of a sudden, Colton's like reading the book.
I do this all the time. But yeah, like there's all these notes and all these things like within them. But it's all describing like what their purpose is for. It's for purposes for not just the reader, but like 3D modelers. And
Right.
whoever else is going to touch their hands on this is like, how's that built? And it's like this, like the collar part here, like you can kind of see this
Right,
one
all the
right
color
here.
codes and things like
Yeah,
that.
like color codes and like
Designs
the notes that you
and
get
things
are
like
like for the collar piece, body part from neck to waist. So that means this is a connecting piece. It's not a separate piece. So it's going to be a whole one piece that connects that whole thing together.
That works.
And that's just for like the next person that's touching it. They're like, oh, how do I make this work on the next form? But also that's the same thing within your tech manual world building, because this is pretty much what you're making right now.
Yeah.
Is a concept book of your world.
Yeah, it's a world building concept design book. Yeah, Brent. So I'm already in here, neck deep in here, and there's a couple of things I've noticed. One, we did the tech manual so fast that there are pieces missing, like entire pages that there's no clip file for, just the JPEG flattened file, and that's it. And it's a wall of text. So if there are any typos in there or anything like that, we have to go in with the eraser tool and erase the word and then try to type another word in and stick it in there and glue it in. And you know,
Like these guys.
Yeah, those
All
guys
right.
are cool.
They already did their thing. Here's their prologue. Here's everything about the project that they were working on. Here's about the whole world.
Yeah.
Prologue. And then they go straight into the art. Like vehicles, characters. And they kind of keep it all kind of consistent too, of like, here's all your character designs. Then you're actually into character. Like the actual main characters are all in their own. Then you're in the world. But like, as you see, there's all these notes that are also talking about the history, the story,
the history of it. Yeah.
yeah, like what they're planning to do with it, things like that. Then you have like panel breakdowns
Nice.
and stuff like that. Like these things, like this book, when I first bought, like I bought it for this. This is the only reason I actually bought it. Like one, the artists I like. Sad they didn't do anything with this, but I really love the artists. I really love what they were doing, but I loved how they broke it down. That's a person you should talk
See you
to.
later, Brent. We'll see you in a bit. If we're still here.
That's a person you should probably talk to, by the way. Matt Campbell.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's actually his
Campbell's
book. That's his book. That's one of his books.
I run into
That
Matt
was
every
him
so
and
often.
Ron. Crap, what was Ron's last name?
Fortier?
I can't remember off the top of my head. No, not Fortier. I always called him like the Irish or barbarian kind of guy. Like he was like a short, stocky guy, big, huge red beard. He was a cool dude. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
But yeah, he's up in Fort Collins, if I remember right.
Yep.
And then Matt's all the way down in the Springs. So like they had a problem with like communication from like distance wise, and it was a whole bunch of stuff. But Matt Campbell would be a really good one to talk to about setting this up a little bit more smoothly. I think he would be a really good one to have a conversation with. And he's always down to talk about art and concept work.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And also, you might get a deal out of it too. Maybe. Who knows? I know he's been trying to get Action Line Comics going more. That it could be something. I don't know.
I would be, and he's the one who's doing Mythica, right?
Yes, correct.
Mythica,
That's his project. That's his baby.
Yeah, Mythica. So, which is beautiful. I mean, there are two out there that are just incredible. Isaac Bell's run that he's doing with his girlfriend. That's insane.
I wish I had. I missed out on that date, but yeah, I really need to get that one. I am so glad they're doing something with that. And also, Isaac's doing YouTube videos now, just talking about processes, which actually are really kind of cool to hear him talk about it. Like him, just like, this is what we were doing, this is how we were accomplishing this, yada yada.
And that's the thing, is I need to look at this from a different point of view. I mean, nothing.
But yeah, Matt might be a good one to talk to.
Function in here is fine. I mean, because like all the stuff that's in here is fine. I just think it needs to be moved to different pages. Right. I think first of all that I need to do an opener which says, "Hi, what is this book? This book is," and actually it'd be kind of cool because I can add a picture of the Tamerlan and Julie Cochran in here.
Of your first pieces,
of my first comics, because then it's like, where did this come from? This came from this Star Trek comic that I was writing. And then my dad said, hey, you can't make any money off of that. You can't sell that. You can't do anything with it. You have to just keep. And I was like, but. And he was right.
Without having the rights, you can't really make any money.
There's nothing I can do with it except, grab Star Trek fans. And so he was like, yeah, but okay.
Yeah.
So I spent 2 years with COVID. While everybody was locked down in COVID, I spent 2 years in COVID building a universe around my characters in Tamerlan. They're the same people, but now they're, instead of in the Federation, they're in the Unity. Instead
I just remember because that's what
they're in the Kittiwake.
You and me had this conversation. I remember that, like back when RTG
so
started. Like we had my guy, you're doing Star Trek comics, but you don't have authorization. You're like, well, yeah. I'm like, I mean, you could do it, but you're not making money. And I don't know if this is where you want to end goal. And you're just like, well, I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm like, no, that's cool. Till you figure it out, let me know. Yeah. And now look at you. 2020 happened, and it got you to make your own stuff.
Well, part of it was that Dad and I had that discussion before you and I had that discussion. And when you and I had that discussion, the walls were starting to break down. You know what I mean? Like
you were still in like, I think if I remember right, because you were in the, like, I want to change, but at the same time, like, I'm in denial.
Right. Part of it was that I was afraid that if I changed, I would lose all the Trekkies that were following me. But then Dad made the obvious comment that I am being followed by a whole whopping 6 Trekkies. So it's not like I've got a million followers that are all going to all of a sudden freak out. And those 6 Trekkies are still there. They're still hanging out with me. They're now watching how Bellatrix Rising is moving along. You know what I mean? Like, they're getting into this part. And so they actually went with me. And so they,
also,
they're still out
it
there.
makes sense though. Like, Trekkies are sci-fi fans down to the core. It's not that they're just Trekkies. They like sci-fi. Like, make a sci-fi thing. I want to see what you can do.
It was just totally me being in denial.
Oh yeah.
I really didn't want to change. It's really what happened.
Well, it's also like, I get where like you're at too. And it's the same thing like with me too. Like, I've realized the same thing. Is like, I want to hold on to who's here, who's like my main source, but then you realize like my source really is a really small knit community,
right? Like,
but I want to build that community, but like, how do I do that? And if they really truly like love your stuff, they will always follow.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. Like, I hit that same point too. I was like, I have to stop caring about who's still there, who's not. I'm like, hey, I can't just cater to one person.
Right.
If I hit that 100 to 1,000 people, like that one person leaving is gonna, if that's gonna demoralize me, like that's not right. Completely stops all my progress because one person left out of 1,000. Like, there's something wrong. If that's what I'm really concerned about, because usually what happens, one person leaves nowadays, or even just with art and ideas and whatnot, usually 2 or 3 people join.
Yeah. Well, we've been broadcasting for 2.5 years out here, and we still have the 5 people that we've gained.
And that's awesome. See, they're always here.
I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just, and like, my kid and I are actually having this discussion because now he's starting to do stuff online and he's working in Scratch, and he's in the Scratch community, and they're he's trying
Scratch game community.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that program's weird. I like it, but it's weird. I played with it.
Yeah, it's fine, and he's doing fine, but he's doing the I don't want to lose followers thing, and I'm like, yeah, let's not go there. It's not.
Don't go down that road. Yeah. Well, and also like the hardest part for him too is he's in that generation though.
Mm-hmm.
That is all about online, all about followers, all about views, all about this, and I was like, that's a hard one to do when you're young too.
Yeah.
But there are some kids that somehow like explode, and I'm like, I don't understand.
No, it does concern me.
Yeah, it's a hard one. Like my friend right now, she's in the same boat. Her kid wants like, let's be TikTok famous, and she's like, I don't know. Like that's definitely in her repertoire because she's definitely a marketer, like to the core.
Right.
Like that's who she is, and she's like, I could do this. I'm like, no, that is literally your profession that you should probably really look into marketing, because you do great with social media, you do great with advertisements, like all that stuff is like that's what you do good at. And for her specifically, I'm like, your daughter's even apparently sees that if she's trying to get you to do something like that too. She's like, that's, and her daughter's 9, and I was like, that's bad. Because she's looking for a career change anyways.
Sure.
And I was like, look into it. You might enjoy it. And she's finally getting into something. Like right now, she's getting into like marketing and whatnot for club events and whatnot. I was like, just start small. That's a small thing to start into. See how much you like it. Enjoy it. Have fun.
Yeah.
Like you're 33, and you have a kid, like, and you're trying to find something different that's going to make you excited. Your daughter's going to be excited with you. Just find something. Just don't forget about your daughter.
Always interesting whenever we talk about, because we were late to the game on the kid thing. And so you're like, you've got a kid who's old enough to, that's a squirrel. That noise you're hearing is a squirrel. He's barking. It's a barking squirrel.
He's playing trumpets with that? I'm joking.
It's so weird.
I hear the music at the same time. I'm like, the squirrel's playing trumpets?
No, it's... Can you hear him?
Very lightly.
Yeah.
Huh.
He's barking.
He's barking at the dog.
Bark, 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 bark. Bark, 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 bark. Looking at me like, what kind of alien are you? I'm like, I don't know, man. You're a freaking squirrel in the tree right outside my window barking. I don't know what to do with you.
You're gonna have a Rick and Morty episode of squirrels.
Yeah. Hey. Anyway, yeah, I always kind of am a little intrigued whenever you say my friend's 32 and has a kid, and I'm like, I'm 50 and have a kid the same age. You know what I mean? Like,
you're talking about that? Okay. No, I was more talking about like, I thought you were going on a different route. I was like, no, it's crazy how much like everything kind of does fall in.
Yeah, I just
your age range.
Interesting how
it's there.
There's a generation here now that's growing up, and that generation I've joined, even though it's millennials having kids. I'm a Gen Xer having a kid with all these millennials having kids. You know what I mean? It's like crazy. So weird because like the culture is different depending on the generation, Right. It's all the 90s, early aughts kids that are now having kids, and here I am, an '80s kid, having a kid that's in the middle of this. So I'm like standing around with all the other all the other parents at schools and stuff like that, and they're like, "Yeah, I was like 2 years old when 9/11 happened," and I was like, "Oh God."
Right.
Like,
That's
dude,
like what you and me were always talking on occasion. And you're just like, yeah, but I'm like, I could just make you feel old right now. He's like, please don't. I'm like, okay.
I had to put my
Because I always love doing that too. Because everybody's like, oh yeah, Colton, you're like, you're old enough to be like around our age. I'm like, yeah, sure, mentally.
Right. Well,
And then
that's
they're
the
like,
thing
oh
is,
yeah,
like,
we're doing this and blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, I could be I could be worse to all you. Like, what do you mean? I was like, oh, I was doing this at that time. They're just like, you are young.
yeah. Well,
I don't ever bring it up, but I'm like, yeah.
I get a kick out of that one, but of course it's.
I always do it just when I'm like, yeah, I'll just put a jab in there. It'll be
I
fun.
mean, even you are young in my world.
Yeah.
You're younger than me by a significant amount, not a lot. And we're certainly peers. I mean, like, I don't feel like you're, less than me because you're younger or whatever. I mean, we're peers. I consider you my equal and level and
Yeah.
everything like that. But it
Same.
is sometimes weird to think, you were a child at the 9/11 period,
Yeah.
whereas
Actually, no, when 9/11 happened, I'm not gonna lie, like when 9/11 happened, I still couldn't comprehend what was going on. Like I was like, I think 11, 12 or something like that.
right,
But still, like I'm watching on TV, I'm like, okay, cool. Building crash. Why can't I continue doing this stuff in my day? Because everything's shut down.
right.
Even here. And I was just like, what the heck's going on? Like, why can't I go do this? Why can't I go do that? Like, I never could fully grasp it at the time. I don't know if that was just because I was selfish, but also
Yeah,
like,
well, I mean, like most kids are at 11 or 12. I'm
yeah.
having those problems with my kid at 12.
Because like the thing I remember very vividly about that day was like me and my friends were supposed to go to the skate park. Like they had an indoor skate park, and me and my friends were going there all the time. And I was like, yeah, I got off school. I'm like, oh, cool, we're getting out of school early. Sweet, I can go do that early. And then I found out everything shut down, and I was like,
Including the skate park.
why can't
Like,
I go do this? I don't understand this. And even my friends were like, I'm calling them like, yeah, my parents aren't letting me leave the house either. I'm like, what the heck's going on? Like, and we're watching on TV. I'm like, I see the planes going into a building. I don't fully grasp this concept of like why everything else has to shut down because the East Coast is having a problem. That was literally
right.
where my brain was. And I
Like, why
felt
is
like,
Denver a problem then?
yeah, like, and then as I got older, I'm like, yeah, I kind of feel like a dick now, but
Well, but that's normal. That's okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
For me, of course, I remember my mom called, and she called and called and called and called until my roommate finally picked up the phone. And he came in like he's half asleep, and he's like, "Your mom's on the phone," and she kept calling, and he handed me the phone, and she goes, "Turn on your TV right now." And I turned on the TV, and my roommate, my best friend, he was still standing at the doorway when the second plane hit. And I remember him going, "Some country just ceased to exist right now." And he's like, "And I'm about to be deployed," because he
Yeah.
was in the army.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, oh, God.
I know which friend you're talking. He's the one that's in Japan now, right?
No, he lives just over the street, or just.
I think
over.
I met him. He sounds familiar because I remember you telling me. I think I met this one.
I have a couple of buddies who are ex-army. The tall
okay,
guy
yeah.
with wears the hat. He was at that time. He was just coming off deployment at that point in his world.
Right.
So, but this is my best friend who's right now a lieutenant colonel. So
he's the one that's still in.
He's still in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And
I think I've met him
he's
once
about to be
I was at your
deployed to
house.
Japan. Yes, you're right. Yeah. He's about to be deployed to a unit in Japan.
That's what it was.
He's been struggling to get that unit for a long time. Right. And since he's reservist, he just spends 3 weeks out of the year in Japan every year working with this unit. And I'm like, that's nothing bad. Wow. He's going to fly over there, hang out with these guys, march around in circles a lot, show North Korea that there's still a force over there, and then come home. That's his job.
Do drills, go hang out in Japan for a few days,
right?
Boom, come back home.
Go get like good sushi and stuff like that. Bring back blendies for his best friend because like that's my favorite coffee. And I'm just saying, Just saying. I have a wish list whenever he goes over there. I'm like, here.
Tell him bring back a case of Boss Coffee.
Right? Bring back this stuff, man. No,
That's
but
one thing
yeah,
I've almost done that with my friend who lives over there now, and I'm like, I'm always like, I send her messages like, do they have cases of Boss Coffee? She's like, why? I'm like, I'm just curious. She's like,
just curious.
I'm not sending you a case of Boss Coffee. I'm like, okay.
Just saying. It'd be cool. But I mean, yeah, that was 9/11 for me. We were already
Nice.
That was our fifth house that we had moved to. You know how you were talking about moving again? It was the fifth one we had done together as roommates. We'd moved because we were calling them. We started calling them. We called it Greenwood after an anime called Cocoa Greenwood, which is about this apartment complex with like the weirdest people in it. Like, you know,
yeah, I think I've seen that one, or I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, and
Cocoa,
so we
Greenwood,
were
right?
the first apartment we lived in. We had like me living there, and then like another guy was living there for a while because he didn't have a place to stay, and it was a 1-bedroom apartment. And so we were all just like subdividing the living room into little living quarters. And it was like, this is the weirdest thing ever. So we called it Cocoa. We called it Greenwood because we're like, God, there's so many weird people.
Okay, I see it there. Yeah.
And then so we got to Greenwood 2, and that was a bigger apartment. And we actually had actual people who were paying money for their spaces there and paying a quarter of the rent and stuff like that. And then we moved to Greenwood 3 and then 4. And then we were at Greenwood 5, which we were making Babylon 5 references because we were like, this is the last of the Greenwood stations, you know. And we were like, and it turned out to actually be the last of the Greenwood stations because after that, I moved out to go to college. And then James went and bought James was deployed. So he sold the house.
Right.
And then when he came back from a long deployment, they actually deployed him to Afghanistan for a 3-year deployment, for a 3-year rotation. Because it was one of those, if you do this, we'll give you a promotion to the next rank up and you won't have to deploy again. And so he deployed. And then when he came back, he had sold the house and stuff like that. Which, of course, the first rule of the army is the army lies. Because they deployed him to Iraq and then they deployed him to Afghanistan again. So, you know, after saying, we'll never deploy you again, they did. And Morgan Freeman voice. And then they deployed him again, you know, sort of thing. And so, anyway, yeah, so it was like that kind of thing. And that ended up being the last of the Greenwood stations. But, and it actually kind of fulfilled. We call this place Applewood now because it's sort of like Greenwood in a lot of ways, but we've got an apple tree. So it's called Applewood now. But and then he bought his house, like, I think it's 1.5 miles away, just across the other side of the main intersection here. So he and we're 9 minutes apart. And
he's the one you go on walks with, right?
No, I go on walks with my other buddy who's also just down the street.
Oh, okay.
All of us, well, see, a lot of us are friends
because
a lot of us are friends because we went to the same schools here in Arvada. And of course, all of us kind of settled back into Arvada because we're all Arvadans, you know, in our heads. This is our home city. And so we trickle back to Arvada. I mean, I grew up here. This is like my neighborhood. I'm literally in the neighborhood I grew up in, which is funny because, like, I sent the kiddo to school and he's going to the same junior high that I went to. Right. And when it first started, my wife was like, "You sure you want him to walk?" And I'm like, "I walked literally the same distance except 4 blocks north." And I'm like, and I was his age, and it was 1980 when there really were vans driving around with people saying, "Come here, kid, I've got candy," you know. And that really was happening in the 80s, and it's not happening anymore, but it was happening in the 80s. So,
yeah,
you know. Anyway, it's 11:07, and
I gotta go to work.
Brent just came back, and you got to go to work, and I really need something to eat because I'm dying. Want some candy, Brent? Want some candy?
Well, guy is hungry. He might take it.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm kind of hungry, so I'd take that and get into the van. There's that meme going around. It's like, there's no way they would ever convince me to get into a van, and it's a van full of books. they're like, crap. Right? Exactly. How to get you want to watch a Star Wars? Want to watch a Star Wars marathon, kid?
Sure. Are we starting at episode 1? Or are we going to start at with the first 3?
With me, it'd be want some starships? Have some starships in here. You can have them. You have anyone you want. Yeah.
I got art supplies.
I got art supplies.
I'm in.
Crap or poor. It was good having you here, and I'm sorry that Brent that you weren't here for most of the show, although we did have some cool things. Oh wait, Brent, check this out. We figured out how to do this one. It does like a slideshow of art. Isn't this cool? Man, like we need to go and dink with it, but it shows like slideshow.
Yeah, we're figuring it'd be a good thing, like if we're working on things that we can't show on stream, but we want to hang out still.
Yeah.
And we can actually sit there and have a conversation still, be on there, but you can see our artwork cycling through at least. That'd be kind of cool.
Yep. I think I will do what I was saying before and unify all the artwork so that it's all the same size. Although this is doing fine of just forcing it to be, 16 by 9.
I mean, if it's forcing it just at least be in the screen, that's perfectly fine, I think.
Yeah, my problem is that it's cycling through only 5 of the pictures. Like I loaded like 100 pictures in here. Oh no, that's the other ones. Okay, good.
Yeah, it's like on super random though. It's like, oh, hey, we're gonna show another one that we just showed 5 minutes ago. Oh, okay. 5 seconds ago. That one's cool.
I love this one. My declaration class, and that's a watercolor too.
Yeah,
I love that one.
I'd say the only thing I would ever change with that is some of your blending with the planets, but like past that, it fucking. The ship and all that stuff is
that was like drawing number 3, and this one's got a lot of Moirier, so I'd have to.
Oh, it's on shuffle / random. Oh,
I put it on shuffle random so that it'd just be random on there. But
I thought that was an actual comic book
like
page.
Oscar's shown up like 3 times now.
Yeah, there's that last one that was there. I thought that was an actual comic page. I was like, what?
Oh yeah,
we're back.
Yeah, we're back to the Declaration Class Enterprise.
You might have to just change it just to shuffle or just to random. If that's what Brent's saying, it's on shuffle random, so it's probably doing both. So it keeps
maybe, because like we've had her.
Yeah, that one. Now. That one I thought was an actual page from like a manga. I was like, hold on.
Nice. I appreciate that. I'm not going to argue because that's what
it gives me like that like 90s, 80s manga.
Oh yeah, when manga was good, like it's back again. Just in case you weren't noticing it before,
because we were talking about it.
Because we're talking about it. Yeah, it does seem like there are other pictures in here. Oh well.
Oh,
We'll figure it out. I'll figure it out
based on the file name. Yeah,
I got to figure that out. Something going on, and maybe what I'll do is I'll just make a directory because it says you can either load individual images or load directories. But since some of my stuff has nakedity in it, I didn't want to just load my entire directory in there because I was like, that'd get us banned.
That's kind of where I was like, if I have to start work, like, because I know I'm in this class right now, I'm going to be doing a lot of.
Yeah, I mean, we're artists. So. Like, I'm very proud of some of my, sketches of.
The best part that we could do if we really wanted to do that is on the stream title, we'd have to say 18+, and that would save us on everything.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much 18+ anyway.
Yeah.
That different.
I'm just saying it's if we wanted kids to be able to come through though, that's the hard part. But yeah. Because if we say 18+, everybody already knows they're coming into content that's gonna be much older.
Well, they made us do that anyway over in YouTube for reasons.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, Brent. I'm just gonna set up a folder and say this is the slideshow folder, and I'll have it go through the slideshow folder. I also might make all of these 16 by 9 so that each and every one of them comes up in 16 by 9 aspect ratio. And so it doesn't do, little and then big and then little and then big and then little and then big, which is really confusing. And like that one picture you're saying looks like a manga, I'll try to dump its Moirier pattern because it's really.
I think it's fine if they keep changing sizes anyways, because it also shows that you were going from 11 like sideways up, and that's a normal portfolio right there for you,
around all of them. You know, I
Normal
could put like
portfolios do that all the time. Is they're like, oh, okay, but it also shows that you saw the piece in a different angle, which is actually better for a different size.
yeah, I'm just saying
And
that
that's
I could
just
put
it says portfolio. That's all I'm really saying. Is like this right here, while we're having conversations, it's just portfolio stuff that people can look at, and be like, oh,
Yeah.
hey, cool. This is
Yeah,
G.
exactly.
Davis's stuff.
Right?
So,
Doesn't look bad. Nothing looks bad. It's all good.
All right. I'm getting out of here.
I'm out too. I'll talk to y'all later.
Have a good night, day. See you, Brent. Good luck at work.
I don't know if I'll see you.
You're the only one on Friday
because today's Friday. So the next time I'll see you guys is Sunday night, because that's the next time I'm in. So I'll see you all Sunday night. Good night.
Have a good
Bye
day.
bye.